So we're back. Here's one problem that a lot of people have issues with. And this has a lot to do with pride. It's called the fear of being wrong. Why is it that you don't want to be wrong? Does it make you look less of a person if you're wrong? You know, I think one of the most dangerous labels to be labeled at is being known as a smart person. I don't want everyone to call me a smart guy. Man, you are brilliant. No, I don't want that title. That's too much. That's too much to even deal with. Because once you're labeled with that title, you always have to own up to that title. You can't be wrong in conversations. You have to be the elite in this and elite in that. And I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that says, look, you know, man, look, I really don't know the answer to that question. But I can find out. Just think if the world was that way. We didn't have a lot of know-it-alls, because no one likes a know-it-all. We don't like those. I mean, just think, even in your relationship, husband and wives, you know, husbands, can you just tell your wife, look, I know it all, honey. What you're saying right now is not correct. It's what I say. I wear the pants in the house, blah, blah. That won't go far. And I'm sure vice versa. If the woman was doing the same thing, you wouldn't like that. But I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that knows everything. So, what do you want to be? When it comes to a business, when it comes to anything, if you have that know-it-all mentality, you're not going to grow much. Because you can't teach a person that knows it all nothing. So that's one thing, that's one behavior that you can also let go of when it comes to opening a business. Because some of us are afraid to open a business only because what if we fail and those same friends that said, I told you so? How would that feel? But see, I don't tell my friends what I do. If they ask me, hey Abdul, what are you working on right now? Man, you know me. This is exactly what I would say. You know me, I have ADD, man. I have so many things in the works right now, I can't even keep them all straight. But I know exactly what it is that I'm working on. I know exactly what it is that I'm trying to execute. I know this. And by me knowing this, I know that I'm setting my environment to make mistakes. I know I'm going to make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes in my businesses, it's crazy. But my mistakes that I make don't bankrupt my business. Why? Because I started my business with what I had in my pocket. And I would never start a business, right? Never start a business by going to a loan. And some of you may say things like this. Well, you can't even have a great business if you don't start it with great money. All my businesses have six-figure incomes. The one I'm doing this year, I already have a plan on paper that I put together. That business will make a six-figure income. Last year this time, the business, I had the products, I had the things to sell, but I didn't have the health inspection done yet. I didn't have these things done. I wasn't making this much money early. So now, starting last week, I started making money in March. So I made almost $70,000 last year. I'm starting earlier this year. You do the math. You see the change in behavior. I see the change in behavior. So I'm already set up to do better. I mean, I had 2 hot dog carts last year. Now I have 3. I'm going to have all 3 going. You know? So what I'm saying is, whoever has the myth of that you can't make great money by starting a business with a small investment is totally wrong. You know? So, what else do we have here? Here's another thing that's kind of interesting. The next time you fear something, right? And you feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. Oh, it's, you know, I got to go talk in front of this crowd, or whatever it may be. Whatever it is that you fear, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the worst thing that happened to you in your life. For me, the worst thing that happened in my life was my grandma passing away. You see, I grew up with my grandparents. I can't even talk my grandparents. I grew up with a single mom, and most of the time I stayed with my grandparents. And I made a prayer to God, and I said, look, all I want you to do is just to make sure that my grandma makes it until I graduate high school, because that's when I knew I was leaving. She died a week before I graduated. 1 week before I graduated. So I think my prayers were answered. But that's the worst thing that's happened to me in my life. Right there. So the new thing that I'm about to come into and about to embrace, I asked myself the question, is it worse than my grandma passing away? And 10 times out of 10, the answer is no. It's not. So what am I afraid of? You see, I like to use this acronym when it comes to fear. False evidence appearing real. Close your eyes for a second. Let's say it together. Just because things are different doesn't mean I need to fear it. Let's say it again. Just because things are different doesn't mean that I need to fear it. I know people, and I can't say names, but I know a person right now that is involved in one of my businesses. And I know that in certain situations things come up and this person is like, ah! I said, let's pass out some flyers, because this one particular event that we're doing, that's one form of marketing. We're going to go where our demographic is, and we can go and pass out some flyers. And the response was, I will do it only if somebody else does it with me. Now, if I would dug a little bit deeper in that situation, I probably would have been, scratched. My eyes would have been scratched up, because they do everything to protect themselves. But my main question would have been, well, why does that person need to be with you in order for you to feel comfortable passing out flyers? What is it about passing out flyers that spooks you? And I can guarantee you one of these things. I can't guarantee all of them, but one of those things is this: rejection. What if I pass out a flyer to someone and they say something like, I don't want your freaking flyers? Feel that moment for a second. You're passing out something and someone says to you, I don't want your freaking stuff. Get that out of my face. What is your reaction? Naturally, some of us fight back. Well, freak you. I almost cursed. Freak you. You shouldn't have it anyway. No. You're going in the game with the wrong mindset. Something that you have, some people don't want it. Right? As long as you get 8 out of 10 people to like what you're doing, you're great. 8 out of 10 people will say, hey, I'll take this flyer. What is this? What's this about? But you're always going to get those 2 people that are like, arr. Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Don't retaliate. You're going to have the emotion, but emotions come and go. That emotion is not going to stay with you for years. Let it go through you. Boom. And later on, we're going to talk about how to feel comfortable with those fearful emotions that come up, and that anxiety feeling that come in your heart beating is like, your heartbeat is like that. We're going to talk about how to become comfortable with those things. But let it go. I remember when people would give me rejection, I would get so upset. How dare you not take what I want to offer? But that's an arrogant thought, isn't it? It's arrogant. Nobody wants everything that you want. Is every human being the same? I don't like country music, but there's millions of people that do. So just because I don't like country music mean that everybody else is supposed to follow suit with what this guy wants? No. And that's the same thing with your business and anything you have. Everybody's not going to buy your product. Everybody's not a candidate. Can you imagine an 80-year-old woman buying Air Jordans? But she may buy some shoes with a lot of cushion. She's more in the market for that, right? So let's stop being arrogant. Let's stop thinking we know everything. Let's stop knowing. Let's stop and just take a deep breath and know that we are human beings. And being a human being means that you're going to make mistakes. You don't know it all. You're going to have emotions. So what? Be who you are. Embrace not being perfect. Embrace it. Feel that. I'm not perfect. My name is Abdul and I am not perfect. I will never be perfect. Even though I will strive toward perfection, I will never be perfect. So, write some good notes down on that. Look over those things. Embrace those feelings. And I'll see you on the next video.